Sleeping systems. Well, I mean, I think that most of you are going to sleep in a mummy bag or something like that, and the things that you want to look for is that you have a hood with that, a good hood, you have draft collars, draft tubes, and really good zippers come with that. That you spend your money, you know, and look for YKK zippers and zippers that are, you know, not going to come open in the middle of the night and things like that. On the Magnetic North Pole expedition, we had down bags and we had synthetic bags. And probably the synthetic bags over a long period of time do better if you can stand the wet. Because the down bag, you do sweat at night. And the down bag, once it gets wet, it just starts getting heavier and heavier every day. And down, once you do melt it at night, as you get into it, just heat it up again, it gets kind of sodden and you're going to lose your capacity to warm yourself with the down bag over a long period of time. The bags get physically...
What's a long period of time?
Like a week, like over a week.
Yeah, in the yard.
Yeah.
In a different environment like the desert, it might not be so.
Oh, in the desert's going to be fine. It's going to dry. It's going to dry every night. It's very, no humidity, yeah. But, yeah. Yeah, and it depends, all this depends on temperatures and stuff like this. The point that I'm making is with the down bag, I love down bags. I've never got my down bag wet. You know, they always say, well, you want synthetic, but if you fall in the water and get your down bag wet, and that's, you got bigger problems than that. It's just the way that you're camping. I've never got my down bag wet, but I would say that after sleeping in it for several nights, it starts to get heavier. It's getting heavier with ice. Okay, from the freeze, from my body sweating it.
And the synthetic bags don't?
It does too, but it retains its ability to keep you warm.
Oh, okay.
Is the difference. Because the synthetic one, can be wet and still warm, whereas the down, once that loses its law.
They both will collect the ice and it will stay there.
Sure.
Your body heat melts that. And
Yes.
And it's moist inside, and the sin bag will keep it warm.
Yes, right. And a good place to read this, if you read about Shirky and Sneaker's expedition to the North Pole in 1986, they actually give some values of how much their bags would actually weigh after a period of time, or in north of the pole, or go north of the pole.
And it's pretty shocking.
Yeah, it is. It's
You got
incredible.
pounds of ice.
Yes, pounds of ice in there. Yes. So so that's something to make consideration on and how long you're going to be. So that's what I call water holder. The rating of down, you see a lot of actually good down on the market these days, and I hope that it's being rated, apples to apples, but most people don't know what the rating means. If you get an 800 down, that means that 800 cc's of that down weighs 1 ounce. So that's how they measure it. 800 milliliters of down, put it in a graduated cylinder, don't pack it down. Don't pack it, just let it drip on top of it. It will occupy that much volume and weigh 1 ounce.
You want the lowest?
You want the higher. The highest you can get, the better.
So you want like 1,000?
If you could get 1,000, if they had to
You
east
might.
that, if they had to east
That's
that.
what you can get.
And what do you say?
That 900, that last.
Yeah.
Where do you get that?
There's probably people that are
Feathered friends or
Yeah,
something.
feathered friends may have some, but that's what you want, because what it is it's just really fluffy. Really fluffy and not occupying, and not very much weight for the amount of area that it fills. Okay? So it gives you lots of dead air space. That down
More
there.
to go down.
Yes, yes.
So what's the equivalent on a synthetic?
I don't know. I
Do
don't
they
know.
rate them against each other?
They'll rate them temperature-wise. They have some kind of copper dummy that they put in these things, and they say, okay, it could maintain this person at this temperature.
Whatever the weight of the bag.
Yeah. So they say this bag is good to -15, this bag is good to -15, whatever. So they do it that way crosswise. But as far as down fill power, as Greg was talking about, you want the one that has the highest fill power. If you start to get the lower fill power, you start to get feathers in there and stuff like that, and that doesn't have good insulation properties compared to down.
Yeah, that's long enough.
Right.
Now, do the down bags transmit heat to the ground faster?
Yes.
Than the
Yeah,
synthetic bags?
because you can compress it.
Right.
And so that's another thing, I should have actually put that. We always sleep on mattresses, right? I mean, so.
Thermarest?
Yes,
Or
Thermarest.
foam?
Thermarest and foam. And to be honest, the best one that I've seen is that Z-Rest. That thing was incredible.
Z-Rest and a Thermarest.
I cannot
Can't get
believe
better
it.
than that.
The Z-Rest phone.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's close.
it's a minus 45 degrees out, and that thing is still pliable, which is what I couldn't believe. You know, most of the stuff, it gets really stiff when it starts, even you, when it starts getting that cold out, right?
Where do you find the zero?
Yeah, they're around. In lots of places, anything, it's REI.
It just folds up.
Yeah.
It's close up,
Right.
folds up.
But those are, they're still pliable in very cold conditions, and
You can sit on them like a log.
Are they a little less comfortable than the blow-up?
yes, that's the trade-off, and that's why he wants a Thermarest.
And both.
Yeah.
It's your real life
Yeah,
Thermarest.
the old Boy Scout trick is that you want 3 times as much under you as you do over you.
Use one about fire so you burn a hole in it.
Say that again.
You want 3 times as much insulation under you as you do over you, because you lose your heat to the ground, not to the air. Go back and look at your conductivity of different materials.
So do you, but down?
Down compressed.
If you can't, if
Yeah.
you're doing backpack and you can't be schlepping along 14 bags.
Right.
Okay. So then are you better off just to take a little extra heat weight with the synthetic bag because it's going to have better insulated qualities?
That's the decision you've got to make. You're going to have that trade-off versus carrying an insulated pad, which you may be able to use for something else, just sitting on around the campfires, you know, if your chair. So you got to, that's
He's taking a separate
a lawn chair, right?
chair.
Right, yeah, well, and that's right. You can, there are the chairs that you can actually stuff your insulating mat into too as well. So it just depends on what, but you've got to realize that what choices you're actually starting to be analytical in your choices is that you're thinking, okay, I've got to have this much underneath me, you know, whether it's, you know, in the old days they didn't hardly carry anything, but they were making their beds out of pine boughs. Pine boughs, you know,
Right.
keeping themselves off the ground that way.
Mhm.
You know, we can't do that these days, but it would certainly cut down on our load.
Extreme Outfitters in Carmel, they have a real good bag, it's about $3 or $50.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't lie, it doesn't have really zippers and draft tubes, it's got things like that.
Uh-huh.
And there's an inner rag, it's real nice, it's real light.
Right.
It doesn't weigh.
Who makes it?
You know, I can't remember.
Okay.
I bought one, I haven't used it yet, but
Okay.
they're really, really neat. I asked them for the best one they had, you know, for cold weather,
Uh-huh.
and all around. And they have a good one.
Uh-huh. And this brings up another point, because I think you said there was like a bag within a bag here. Very good idea. Go modular on your bags. Don't be embarrassed by taking 2 sleeping bags in the Arctic. You know, it's much easier to dry. Put one inside the other. Much easier to get them apart in the morning and get them dried out and aired out, you know, when you need to. Okay?
I'm really surprising myself why that come back with that fleece liner after you're showing me these boots and things.
Mhm.
You know, it's like-
Yeah, and a fleece liner is a great thing to have in there. Okay?
Anybody tried one of those bags that has the sleeve for the Thermarest? Do those work?
I haven't used those, but they should work. They just help hold that Thermarest pad in there
Right.
so you don't roll off of it. Yeah.
You
Right.
sound so quietly, Darby, you don't need that.
Okay. The way that we would go to sleep in the night is most people don't know that we take hot water bottles to bed. So they've just boiled your water, and you're not going to lose that by leaving it outside, okay? So you're going to put that in your bag with you. Now you have to cover it. I mean, it has to be covered, and preferentially, it's covered with something that you want to dry, okay? Like a mittens or something. Because you're going to dry your stuff in your bag at night.
Everything's adding moisture to your bag.
Right. Hopefully your bag breathes. Right. But you're right. That's the only place that you can get stuff sometimes dry for the next morning, is you dry it in your bag.
You boiled your water to make it aseptically pure to drink, is what you're saying?
Yes, yeah.
Even the snow you're doing.
Yeah, we usually go up to boiling. I mean, that's just so that, and in fact, it's
Just
not
to make
because,
sure.
yeah, and also, the point is that we want to get it as hot as we possibly can. Because we're going to use it that night to get warm, too.
Well, the cold water would lower your core temperature.
Yeah, so it's hot, and now you can scald yourself really bad doing this. So you want to put some of your fleece around it. Usually you put one in the bottom of your bag. So now you've got essentially a 200 calorie candy bar worth of energy down on the bottom of your bag if you boil a liter of water, okay? And then, or a 100 calorie candy bar or whatever down there. And the other one you put between your legs, okay? You want your femoral arteries to pick up that heat. You will not believe what it feels like on your legs when you do that. It feels like somebody just gave you a massage. That warm, warm blood that's going past your femoral arteries will pick up the heat, and they'll take it to your feet, and you are just relaxed like you can't believe. But you just got to make sure that on a nightly basis that you can protect yourself very well with this, so that you don't scald yourself, because you can get injury from just having the heat every night the same. It's like putting a heating pad the same place night after night. It doesn't feel so hot the first night, but you know, after doing that for a while, you start to get a red spot. Okay, so just be careful with that and protect it, you know, with clothing and stuff. But don't lose use of the water to heat yourself. And then, of course, the next morning it's not frozen, so you can actually drink it. There's no use going to bed and with your bottles outside and waking up only to have them frozen so you can't drink your water that you've just boiled. So what do? You can't get the water out. So how do you store your waters? When you are underway, and you got your water bottle and it's really cold.
Under your shirt, that's
Yeah, and let's say I got it like this. I'm in this like this. How do I store my bottle?
In between your back and
Yeah, store it in there so it's warm. But let's say it's going to be so cold that I know it's going to freeze, and that I know my bottle's going to freeze.
your down your leg.
And I know it's going to freeze. I don't want it. It's going to be.
Oh, you know it's gonna freeze wherever it is?
Yeah,
You mean like orientation?
yeah.
You say I'm screwed, I have to boil when I stop.
Run so that the ice rising is away from your cat.
Store it upside down. Your bottle is upside down in your pack. Okay? Because when it forms ice, it's going to form it up here. If it forms ice up here, you can't get the rest of the water out. Right. These are the little tricks, okay? So when you gotta make sure the lid's tight. Because you don't want to like, okay, I'm gonna put this in my mitten now, and I'm storing it upside down. Okay, we'll make sure the lid's tight. But you store it upside down.
So you
So
got
the-
it upside down, then where do you put it?
Well, just like in your mitten like this or whatever.
And then where do you put the mitten?
Inside your pack, so you can get to it easily. The point is that when it forms ice, you're still going to be able to drink from it. Okay?
I guess you could do what you just did. You could put it in upside down and store your mitten upside
Yeah,
down.
right.
It
So
does leak.
it's not going to leak. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If it does leak, it's going to leak on something else other than inside your mitten.
Like your underwear.
Right. Like leak on your down coat or your underwear or something. Yeah. Leak on something else.
Could you, back to the heat your pants,
Uh-huh.
could you take those hand warmers that
Uh-huh.
that break open with the
Yeah,
air,
uh-huh.
and put those inside
Yes.
your,
Yeah.
long johns at night?
Yes. But you want to make sure again, I mean, because seriously, after several nights, it starts to be a red spot on your thighs. So you just want to really, but that is a great way to get warmed up, because those arteries are close to the surface of the skin there. That's why the Eskimo wears short pants. He'll put all these pants on, and then the last thing he puts on is these short pants, which keep those covered. You know, and also, you know, even the long underwear that's basically just to get, I mean, you can get long underwear that just goes down to your knees that helps tremendously compared to just having briefs on, okay? Just to keep those arteries. And sorry, ladies, but the men take a third bottle to the sleeping bag with them. That's because we're conserving energy. We're not getting out of that bag at night.
You underestimate some of us.
Right. More power to you.